is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Is your volume fine?
Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Game Week 11 podcast, FPL podcast, episode number 46. I'm joined with Abin after a long time. How are you doing?
Yeah, very, very good. Maybe it's a good thing I wasn't around. Someone making good punts anyway. So my insights aren't the greatest. So
Well, both of us are going to need a revival of our teams right now. So we'll have to see with regards to all of that. We'll be discussing that. Do you have this Liverpool assets in your team?
I've got all of them.
Oh, okay. So all of us, we need.
I think no, I don't have Trent.
Okay. So you're fine for a little bit at least. But we need we need the exit plans for Liverpool players. We need to think about Reece James, who could potentially.
Oh no, sorry, hang on. I don't have Trent and I don't have Salah. So I'm good.
You are fine. I'm struggling with these Liverpool players. Then we need exit plans for maybe Reece James. We don't know. It's probably hold and wait on him. We'll talk about him. There is Mitrovic as well, who is a doubt. So quite a lot of flags. It's basically flags week this week in FPL. So we're going to talk about it. We'll start on the games. But before we get to the games, let me go to the fixture difficulty ticker. So Palace right on top. For the season ticker until game week 16, followed by Bournemouth, interestingly, Wolves, Everton, Fulham, United, and Villa and Leicester, obviously. The bottom has City and Arsenal, mainly due to that blanking game week 12. Also at the bottom, you've got the likes of Brentford, Leeds, and Forest, and also Liverpool and Brighton slightly below as well. Any teams that's kind of like...
It's a strange one. It's like you look at the top half, and I can't think of many players I would have in my team. Crystal Palace, I don't have Zaha. That's the only one I can think of, Zaha to have in. And maybe even, goalkeeper, to be honest, is something I'm still thinking of what to do. I've had Pope for a couple of game weeks. And he was the good choice to make back then, but he hasn't kept a single clean sheet or save point or nothing. But again, it's not a move that I need to make. I think there's more fixing needed everywhere else rather than goalkeeper. Because the honest truth, I don't think goalkeeper there's any hero this year. It's
not really, no. There isn't a standout candidate who's like.
There's no standout candidates. So. So someone I did think of was Gaeta from Crystal Palace. That's the only guys I think of in Crystal Palace. But from Bournemouth, Wolves, Everton, Everton, I can't think of anyone that I want. To be honest, in any of those three teams, Fulham. I think everyone's got Andreas, but he's just more of a fill in the gap. If anyone is injured, but Mitrovic is obviously the other one, which again I've brought him in a couple of weeks ago, and ever since I brought him in, it's just been 1-0-0 or something. It's something silly.
I know, right?
I did get him out in the last game week. To be honest, I replaced him with Wilson in the last game week. Oh, sorry, I did. I was thinking that's something else. No, sorry. I brought in Tony. Tony. I still have Mitrovic, but I have Tony as well.
Yeah.
But But yeah, for the top half, that's all I can really think of. United, I still haven't. I think it's still a bit hard. He says easier, but it's not. Newcastle is tough. They're a different beast now. Then you got Tottenham and Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly. And then West Ham as well.
Hard to put a punt on anyone there, to be honest.
Yeah, top of the table is like.
So I mean, then you look at Aston Villa again.
Oh no, don't want to go there.
No one. Leicester, Madison. That's it. Spurs. Then you're getting to the middle half of your screen there. So really, in the top half of fixtures, there's no easy punts there that you can pick.
Probably agreed, because like most of the teams we want, like look at that, the last two teams on the ticker is what we want basically. In terms of Arsenal and City, as I said, they're the only two consistent teams right now, and they're only bottom because of the blanking Game Week 12. They'll be right on top after Game Week 12 again. Before we continue, shout out to people in the chat. FPL Planner, Shubharan and Kai, welcome everyone. Shubharan said, "What's with this injury crisis?" And then Kai says, "I have cancelled a Cucurella Trippier. I need one more good defense." We shall mention that as well. And also, Doctor says hello. Okay, so this is the season ticker. Let's talk through the games. Try and answer in terms of defensive. If you want a replacement for like Reece James, if you want to do it, we'll talk about that as well. But let's start with Brentford versus Brighton. I think Brighton assets are more the ones right now who are probably on everyone's radar. Mainly, if I go back to the ticker, they've got in Game Week 11, they've got Brentford, obviously, and then in Game Week 12, they have Forest. Now, Game Week 12 is a blank period where you'll have the likes of City and Arsenal missing. Forest, Brighton, maybe Trossard. People are thinking of captaincy option for Trossard. Brighton's defense also not too bad. What have you made of like Brighton and their new manager?
To be honest, I did have. I had both Gross and Trossard in previous versions of teams, and got rid of both of them when I wildcarded in Game Week 8. And then that's when Potter then left, and I have stayed away, obviously to my detriment with Trossard with that hat trick a couple of weeks ago. But I don't think I'm there yet. I just want to keep watching a bit more of Brighton just to see how they go with the new coach. I don't know much about this coach and his philosophy and style and who he's going to impact or not. So, but for sure, if anyone, it's Trossard that I would consider bringing in. But his price just keeps rising every other week, every other day. He's I think 6.8 now.
Yeah, I think Trossard is probably in terms of attacking options, Trossard would probably be the one that I think you'd want to go for the short term. Long term, though, I don't think Trossard is still the option, because if you're
in the price bracket, there's quite a lot of options.
Yeah, you got Martinelli, and also like you have City and Chelsea after that as well, which you need to keep in mind. I'm thinking of Trossard as a short term punt, and then move him to like someone like a Foden or a Saka. Is something I'm considering, but we'll have to see. That all depends on Salah, because I have Salah and I don't know what to do with Salah. So if I was to move for Trossard, it would be Salah to Trossard as my move, but we'll have to see on that.
There's a lot of money in the bank.
I know, and then that's where I'm thinking, what do I do with that money, and maybe move it to forward line. We'll see. But all depends on how. I want to see how Liverpool do in the Champions League fixture as well. Now that Trent is out, Diaz is out as well. So do they go back to their 4-3-3 formation is something to see.
Yeah. It's definitely a strange season. If you think back on last season, it was a premium defense game, as well as midfield. Strikers were nowhere to be seen. Where this year, it's if Haaland wasn't around, Kane is having a crack of a season, right? And then you've got other options as well. Midfield is okay, but it's more in that mid-price bracket that's shining. And defense is just not there. Like Trent, James, they're not in the top, I don't even know, 10, 20 of scoring this season. Right?
Yeah, it's funny, right? Like at the start of the season, they were the main people to target.
Yeah.
Then we went to forwards, and now we're like midfield.
Yeah.
I don't know what will be next, but it's changing rapidly. Only a few players are very consistent in terms of like you have your Haaland very consistent. Kane, like we said, right? probably the second most consistent premium option right now.
Yeah.
Just ticking along with points, not explosive points, but like just ticking along with a goal every game. And then obviously you have Cancelo, who just does Cancelo things at times. We spoke about him before, like he's not appearing on the charts. Now he's appearing on the defensive, like the numbers as well. All the attacking numbers, everything is appearing as well. So yeah, we'll have to see. Now, in terms of, there's a question in the chat from Shubharan. He mentions time to get rid of Pope for Sanchez. I don't think I'll get rid of Pope. I think Pope right now, just keep him. Like we mentioned, there's no goalkeeper who is really standing out. So I'm just, and also it's not a pressing transfer to make right now.
Yeah, I mean, if for him, if that is his weakest link and the problem, then fine. But I think for most people, there's a lot of other holes to fix.
Exactly.
And goalkeeper, to be honest, there's no one that has a standout this year. There's no. Last year you would have
Ramsdale, Martinez before,
Melia would be in moments. You know, there was people. There's Sanchez. This year there is no outstanding keeper. There's no outstanding bonus points, or you know, it's that's not where it's sitting this year. So
yeah, fair enough. All right. Any thoughts on Brighton? I'm not Brighton. Sorry, Brentford. Tony.
Yeah, I've got Tony.
I
have Tony in my team. I can't remember why I did that. I think it was a late
probably the hat trick,
because I just found that I had quite a bit of money in the bank, so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got Tony, and that's all I would have from Brentford.
Fair enough. Agreed. All right, moving on. Leicester versus Crystal Palace. Leicester, I don't know what they're doing defensively, but attacking wise, they one game they did really well. The next game they went and lost to Bournemouth. I don't know what to like. I can't describe Leicester as like a team. It's so hard. Like you never know what you're going to get from Leicester at this point.
Well, you kind of do know what you're going to get this season because they've lost everything except one game.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which is very disappointing because they're a team that everyone like to have as in your top couple of teams because of what they've achieved in the last couple of years, right? And they still have an outstanding team. It just seems that they've kind of maybe hit their ceiling in terms of what they can produce, and they haven't really freshened the squad at all. But there's only one person that sticks out, and that's one person only, and that's Maddison. And he's the only one that's delivering. Maybe Daka, but if he had some time on the field, could get some points. But I can't see anyone other than Maddison. Maybe Barnes to a degree, but again, Maddison just seems to be the clear-cut explosive option.
Fair enough. I think Maddison probably is my best option going forward as well. Like you said, Daka, it's only minutes. So like he keeps getting rotated with like Vardy or even at times Iheanacho. So it would be a good punt for the price, but like if his minutes were more secured, that is. But yeah, I agree. Maddison is the only one, and then obviously Crystal Palace, it's only Zaha. I've got Guehi, but then that's because of his price tag mainly and nothing else. But Zaha is probably the only player from Crystal Palace that I would go for as well.
Yeah.
Leicester is the downgraded version of Leeds United. Bielsa first season. I mean, you could say that, but they can't. These guys can't defend. At least Leeds, I think, were attacking most games. Leicester, I don't even know at this point
whatever it is. They're missing Schmeichel a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, that leadership, and now they just have two average keepers. And
yeah. And also, if you don't have Maddison now, I think that boat is almost sailed, because if you look at Leicester's fixtures after 13, I think you might the last three is like you can still get onto Maddison, but City in 14, Everton in 15.
But you just hope that their luck does change and they do get on a winning streak. We don't want to be seeing them relegated.
We don't want
sitting around there, right? So because in the ordinary other seasons, these kind of games are okay for them. They get a result or not.
We'll see what happens. Fulham versus Bournemouth. Now, Mitrovic is still uncertainty. If you have him, I think you wait for press conferences and see what Marco Silva does say. If you already got rid of him, okay, there's no need to worry. Andres Pereira is a good backup option to play if you are missing players. Bournemouth have improved defensively though. And also now they're sitting on top of sitting 8th or something in the league table, which is crazy. I would have never thought of that. I thought they were going to get relegated at one point. So they've improved their defensive numbers. Solanke has got 3 assists in the last 6 game weeks. I basically shat on him for so long. saying that he wasn't a good option, and now he's got 3 assists. But 2 of them came against Leicester, obviously, so we don't really count that. Anything interesting?
And so what are you saying? If there's no positive news of Mitrovic, you would get rid of him?
If there's no, see, this is the thing, right? If there's no positive news of Mitrovic, if Mitrovic is supposed to be out for like longer than game week 12, I have no reason to probably think of keeping Mitrovic, because I need him mainly for that game.
I think everyone is it's just Fulham has a crazy good run of fixtures.
They do.
Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Leeds, Everton.
And that's it, right? After that,
and before that, it was West Ham, Newcastle, Forest.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate. I think a lot of people brought him in over wildcard and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, all I've got from him was 2-0-0.
Exactly, same. I got him on wildcard. I got him on wildcard 9, and it didn't.
9.
That was even worse.
That's worse.
Move out in the 30th minute. Yeah.
You got told out 0 points.
Yeah, exactly. That's even worse. So I feel like if he's going to miss the next 2 game weeks, I might as well just move him out. Like, I can move him on to some other striker. Like, it's mainly that game week 12. If he's going to be playing the game week 12, then okay, I'll bench him if he's going to miss this one. But yeah, I think if he's not going to be available for a decent term, then it's probably time to move. The other thing we have to keep in mind is within the space of a week, we have 3 game weeks. So they could, if a manager says a player is out for at least a week, that's 3 game weeks gone. So we need to keep that in mind as well, I guess. Bournemouth, anyone interesting? Except for maybe Solanke if you wanted, but no.
Yeah, I don't have anyone, and I'm not looking at anyone unless it's just to fill in a gap like what Solanke is. But no, to be honest, no.
Should we even spend time talking about Wolves and Forest, or can we just skip it?
That's right. I don't think I've even followed any of their games at all.
I feel like there's no point even talking about this game.
Is Wolves still on managerless?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's no point talking. Like Forest obviously gave a new contract to Steve Cooper, but that's all I'm going to talk about first. Both of them are useless. If you have Nico Williams,
where's Jesse Lingard?
He's in Forest, but he's not performing. If you have Nico Williams, the only thing I'll mention is it seems like he's lost his place. And if you're expecting him to play for Game Week 12, you might want to reconsider and find someone else. He might get a few minutes, but don't expect him to play a game. Or start a game, sorry. So let's move on to Spurs versus Everton. Now, Emerson is out. Doherty is playing for the moment there. Perisic we don't know what's happening with Perisic. Been a very disappointing player.
He's a pain. He's one of the thorns in my team, to be honest. And I've had him again since wildcard, and again no results. 2-1-1 the last 3 game weeks. But I think it's something that you kind of expect from him because you just don't know how they're managing his minutes and all of that. So I've been quite disappointed with that result. But I did see images of Kulusevski
back training,
which is again that's positive news for Thing because he's always a player that I've considered highly to add to the team. But again, it seems that bracket between 7 to 8.5. There's so many options now, and the fact that I don't have a Spurs attacking person in my team, he could be an option if I don't find a way to bring Kane in.
Yeah, I think Kane is the main one. So now I've been thinking of, this is a -4. Now I have no idea whether this will work or backfire on me, but it's a potential -4 of Trent, Salah, and Greenwood, the 4.3. All 3 of them out, and Webster, Trossard, and Kane in for that. So I've been thinking about that, and that gives me an ability to play, assuming no other injuries happen elsewhere, a full 11, and also bench Cancelo, Haaland, and Martinelli without.
That still leaves you quite a bit of money in the bank as well.
Oh yeah, it does. Which then I can use in game week 13 to upgrade Trossard to Foden. Yeah. So I'm thinking of that because it looks good because I don't have to then sell Cancelo, Martinelli, and Haaland because that's something also I had to consider because I have value stored in them as well. But yeah, apart from that, Son is a decent option, but if Kulusevski is back, it means they might switch formation again. So without Kulusevski, they were playing like a 3-5-2. Son is further up front. If they switch, it'll be back to a 3-4-3, and then I don't know how that's going to impact Son as well. Whether he'll be as attacking is a different question. Obviously, something we have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Villa versus Chelsea. Potter went and changed 7 players. Messed up Curran as well, unfortunately, and the rest of our teams.
It seems it's another version of Tuchel here.
Yes.
With this rotations, which you don't expect from Potter with his experience with Brighton, but I guess now that he has much more competitions to manage, he has no choice.
Yeah, and his system.
But look, I'm impressed with his start so far.
Mm.
Right, he defensively looks strong. It seems that Kepa is now the number one
for now, at least. Yeah.
For now, and they're looking strong defensively. Attacking, yeah, I'm not too sure who I'd pick if I could, because again, there's so many options in that bracket that I still wouldn't rely on one of them.
I would have initially said before last week, I would have said like Sterling and Aubameyang are good picks.
But at their price, though.
Yeah, their prices are a bit too premium.
That's a premium player. Who would you get rid of to get them?
Yeah, that's the only thing. The other thing is the only one so far, or like there have only been 2 players who have started most games. Like that's Kepa and Mount. Now, I guess Mount will continue to start, but I don't know. Attacking wise, I am in terms of Chelsea players. None of them I feel like are interesting enough where I want to go there. Like I think there are better options elsewhere.
Correct. Between Martinelli, Madison, Foden, whoever else.
If you look at this thing, right, they're ticker Chelsea, Villa, Brentford, United, Brighton, Arsenal, Newcastle. From 13 to 16, all 4 of those teams are more defensively a bit more solid. So attacking wise, I wouldn't really be interested. Which is the thing. Yeah. Aston Villa, though, I'm not going to.
I do hope that. I'm not sure which way he's going to end up, but would love to get the option. Yeah, would love to get the option of bringing Chilwell back.
Yeah, it's true. Agreed.
Because at least he kind of felt consistent.
Yeah.
Because James is always this game, one of those is either explosive or not. It's just 1-0, 1-0, then a 15, then 1. Oh.
It's looking to be a 0 this week. I don't know if he'll start even at this point.
But again, I guess we have to wait for news this week.
Yeah.
How far he's out.
Yeah.
Hopefully not too bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I was talking to Roy last week in the podcast, and I was like, Roy, when will James get his clean sheet? And he was like, oh, maybe against Wolves will be the time. And he goes and gets benched. Yeah. I was like, oh. But yeah, James is a very annoying player right now. But yeah, doctor says Mount got subbed off at halftime, so he'll start. So yeah, if you want a Chelsea player, maybe Mount looks like the most consistent at the moment. James injured. We'll have to wait and see what Potter says. Aston Villa, I'm not going to even touch on Villa unless you have anything to say on Villa, because they're just boring the hell out of me. Moving on, Leeds versus Arsenal. This game could have goals. What have you been thinking about Arsenal so far?
Every time you think that's the end of it, they keep going.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people, good on the people that have kept faith in the Arsenal players. I think everyone that went on wildcards more often than not got rid of Jesus.
Yeah.
And whoever. Like I think most of us had tripled up on Arsenal.
Yeah.
With a good run of fixtures, and then after a while, game week 8, they had Spurs, Liverpool, and whatever, and they've actually ended up getting results against them, both of them. So good on everyone that stuck with them, because they've profited hugely. But for sure, I don't know. I'm not going to do anything but get now before game week 12.
Yeah.
It's just because I think once you've made the decision early on, you just have to stick with it, because it's too late now.
Yeah.
You have to suck up great game week 11 and move on.
Yeah.
But I do have Martinelli.
That's fine. That's enough.
He's class.
Yeah.
And then once game week 13 comes in, then you sort of rethink.
Yeah,
exactly. Your team with Saka, how would you bring Jesus back in? How do you
even
fit in Saliba or Gabriel in?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think like Martinelli, I've kept Martinelli as well. I'm just happy we just won Martinelli and just like go on, forget about the rest of the. They could get goals elsewhere, but it's fine. And then game week 13, obviously reassess with Arsenal players and see what we can do. We'll look at some of the stats as well. Saka is just like topping all of the stats right now, so that's also something to consider. Him and Foden are just like at the moment delivering really well. From Leeds' point of view, no one really popping up at the moment.
Yeah. No one, to be honest.
Yeah. Fixtures also a bit of a meh. Fixtures like Arsenal, Leicester, Fulham, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Spurs. So some tough games in there. So at the moment, I would probably not look at any Leeds players as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing of Spurs, Leeds just kind of ended when Rodrigo got injured.
Yeah.
But I think he might be back.
I think so.
Really?
I think so. If I'm not mistaken, I haven't followed Leeds too much.
Looking at the scheduling, he doesn't have a flag next to him anymore.
Yeah,
but
I think he played the last.
He was the reason that they had such a cracking start to the season.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how he comes back. Between him, Harrison, Aronson as well.
Sinistera.
But again, Sinistera is just a bit too expensive for me. I mean, if he was at the 4.5 or something, maybe, but a 6.5 now.
Fair enough. Okay, so that's Leeds. United versus Newcastle. This will be a tough game.
For who? United.
Yes, and also for Newcastle, to be honest. I'm expecting a really good game though. From this.
I don't know what kind of game I'm expecting to be that, because Newcastle they're a tough act, right?
Yes.
They got a result against City.
Yeah.
3-3, right? It's if they can achieve that,
they will come out of the blocks. They will come flying.
They'll come out of the blocks, right? It's. I mean, they've what, won 5-1, and then 4-1 before that.
Yeah, they've scored like lots.
They've got goals in them.
Yeah. And
one guy I have kept an eye on, that's what recently is Almiron. And he's at a cheaper price point as well. Yeah, he's only 5. I think he's gone up actually 5.2 now.
He's doing well.
He's been clocking away nicely. I mean, if you look at his last, he's got 7 points, 15 points, and then and there. He's at a cheaper price point, obviously.
He's doing well. I still prefer Callum Wilson because he's on set pieces and everything. The only problem with Callum Wilson is
injuries.
Yes, injuries, exactly. Like if he wasn't an injury-prone player, he would be such a good FPL asset.
Yeah.
Sure. So Callum Wilson could be decent if you're looking for Mitrovic.
Obviously, without saying, Trippier is you have to have him.
Yeah.
Like, without a doubt, he is just clocking over. I think he's got the most points, I think, now.
And like the rate he gets bonus as well is crazy. Like he has so much.
I think there was only just one game this season that he didn't return. Like everything else, he's gone assist, a goal, or clean sheet or something.
Would you start Trippier if you had him? Do you have him?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
starting him. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
I have more confidence in him. Deliveries. If for sure. Newcastle, United's not going to keep a clean sheet. I think.
No.
I'm still not convinced with their defense, and I have more confidence in him delivering me something from that game than maybe Perisic. Even though I think Perisic was more explosive, but I just can't guarantee his minutes.
Yeah, fair enough. Agreed. Shubharan says, "Is this the week that Newcastle double defense returns?" I hope not. I'm expecting actually both teams to lose their clean sheet. Is what I'm expecting. Because I think United's attack is also pretty decent. It's not too bad.
Are you considering Anthony?
No, not at the moment. Not like even United's fixtures. I think they're kind of you avoid them until maybe
3-3.
Which one?
Anthony.
Yeah. The Brazilian right winger. Not Anthony Martial, right?
No.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not considering him at the moment. I think it's a kind of like a wait and watch, because if you look at United's fixtures, right? Where are United? They've got Newcastle obviously, but then Spurs and Chelsea. Those are 2 tough games, and West Ham as well, who are defensively solid. If you want Anthony, final 2 game weeks. If you want to try something, final 2 game weeks are really good. Before that, I probably wouldn't go there because
I still like to look at Rashford. I think he's
pretty good.
He just makes a difference when he's on the pitch.
Yeah. Agree. So we'll see what happens in the game. I think you still start Trippier if you have him, and you start Pope as well if you have him. But I think clean sheets are both gonna go.
No Ronaldo? He's on your cover page.
Yeah, well, no Ronaldo. Again, same thing with Anthony. Until maybe the final 2 game weeks, no United player. No punt down there. But yeah, that is it. We'll see with Ronaldo. Maybe he continues to start, does deliver. I'm happy that he got his 700 goals, but let's see how he does. Moving on, Southampton versus West Ham. We have a West Ham fan as well in the chat, and they are doing really well. They've improved from where they were in the first 7 games compared to now. Bowen delivering. Skamaka doing well.
I'm interested in that one. Like I thought about Skamaka, but I just don't know enough about him. How consistent he will be. I mean, that's for me a more punt move than
fair enough.
A specific fact-based move.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Bowen though?
Bowen? Yeah. I mean, but I think I just for some reason I'd rather have Zaha at this point in time.
Fair enough.
And with all the other midfield I already have with Martinelli, Maddison, De Bruyne.
Yeah.
I mean, Bowen, yes, for sure. I mean, the only reason is if he was still priced like last year, then maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. But he's on pins right now at the moment.
I've been very poor this year with building squad value, so I'm tight.
Fair enough. Bowen could be a decent move. The only thing is there's fixtures like West Ham. It's a decent set of fixtures, to be honest. If you wanted to get, even against Liverpool, I think they can do something, to be honest. I won't be surprised if we get something. And then obviously the final game, Liverpool versus Manchester City. Haaland captain.
Without a doubt. As long as he's injury free and that's okay, and they were just managing his minutes last night.
Yeah.
Then without a doubt.
Okay, fair enough. Does Liverpool have any hope of getting even a goal in this game? Or should we just get rid of Salah as well? I'm not sure at this point. At this time, I'm way more looking forward to getting rid of Salah than keeping him.
And it's what a shame that is.
I know, right?
For the last 4 or 5 years, he's your only constant in the team, right?
Yeah. And now
the thing is with Liverpool is they're losing or drawing, but they're still scoring. It's just they're not scoring enough. Where are the goals coming from? And from the last game against Arsenal, I like Nunes. I think he had a great game. I think he probably was the best player. His movement around the box and his XG was on point. But again, that's another striking position that you don't probably have space for. But again, Firmino looked good.
Nunes, if he gets more minutes, could be a decent option. Yeah, that's something. Maybe even dropping Salah and going for Nunes is not a bad option as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
As a move to do. But yeah, that is that.
But I've got no Liverpool player on my team.
You are one lucky fellow. Here I am suffering with 2 Liverpool players, and I'm like, what of my budget is on those?
I just had to make the brave call of just doing something because I was lagging way behind. Well, 4 million. And now I've caught up.
You don't have to do anything this game week, obviously. You can then see how they perform this game week. Then game week 12, if you wanted to, you can make a move.
Yeah. But so you got more fires to put out.
Yeah, I have way more fires to put out. All right, let's look into some stats because Kai has been asking a defensive choice to go for. He has Cancelo, Cucurella, and Trippier and needs one more. So we'll look into that. Team attack this is the team attack. City, Arsenal, obviously top. Newcastle, third. Oh my God, United. I'm going to face Newcastle's attack. Spurs, fourth. West Ham, fifth. Liverpool's, like you said, right? Still scoring goals. There's 16 team attack last 6 game weeks. Right at the bottom is obviously Southampton, Leeds, Fulham, Crystal Palace, and Bournemouth. So that's the team attack. Team defense. City on top. West Ham on top. Chelsea as well. Newcastle.
Surprised that West Ham is sitting there.
They have been actually pretty good. For the last couple of weeks, they've been in the top 2 every time I've seen. So if you're looking for Kai, if you're looking for a defensive player, West Ham are not a bad team to go for. Zuma, I would say, is probably a more consistent pick from the West Ham defense. probably the only one I would go for because everyone else is probably a bit of a risk from West Ham's defense. So Zuma is the only one. Chelsea, obviously, Chilwell, we would love to have him, but we don't know how many games he's going to start and all. Brighton and another team I'm looking at. With Webster, probably my main target because his goal threat is more compared to Dunk this season.
Yeah, agreed.
And then obviously your worst defenses are Everton, Leicester, Fulham, Southampton, and Forest. These are the teams you might want to target.
Yeah, agreed.
Defenders. Now, this is where you wanted defensive questions, defenders to get. Trippier, look at him. Right on top. Almost every stat he's like topping. You got Strike in there as well. Very interesting. I didn't expect him to be there, but sort of by expected goal involvement. Ben White. And then Cancelo has made his way into this table. Initially, he was nowhere to be seen, but now it's Trent who is nowhere to be seen. Cancelo is there. Perisic is still there, but to be honest, Perisic is not delivering in terms of points.
That's right. What's the point?
Yeah, the numbers are good. The points are not great.
Yeah.
And then obviously you got Sessegnon, who's also in this list. Someone else.
I think Fabian Shaw has actually been okay as well, but the thing is, I mean, most people already have Pope or Trippier. You don't want to be getting any more.
Triple Newcastle defense, maybe don't want to go there. Yeah, I know some people have triple Newcastle defense, but yeah, at the moment I probably wouldn't go triple Newcastle defense. A double is not too bad though. Anyone else from this list that you kind of think, or even not on this list? I know the Brighton players are not on this list because of the fixtures they've just faced, but
to be honest, I don't like. The way I see my team is evolving is getting to a 3-5-2 or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, good.
And I'm happy with just 2 low grade defenders and 3, which I like of Trippier, Cancelo, and depending on James, what happens with him, I'll have to consider what my options are.
Yeah.
It was ideal. I like just wait till game week 13 or something and get an Arsenal. A player in, but that's kind of where I'm evolving to from my previous formations.
Yeah, like if I look at my team, I eventually think in game week 13 I will have at least a defense of Cancelo, Trippier, and maybe Saliba, and that'll be my defense for the rest of this end until game week 16.
Yeah.
And the rest are like just 2 low value defenders, like you mentioned.
The interesting thing with Saliba, I get the thing of him, but I think he's really just 2 game weeks that he just was outstanding, that he's head and shoulders, but the rest of the game weeks it's okay.
Yeah.
1-1, 0-1-1, -1.
Yeah, true.
Then he has a 15 and a 14.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So for some reason, obviously he's a great threat and stuff. For some reason, I like Gabriel.
I don't know if Gabriel will get dropped though. That's the only issue I'm on. Because I think there's rumors like Ben White is a better defender in central than Gabriel now. From Arsenal fans, at least, that's what they are thinking.
Right.
But yeah, at the moment, I'm just like, I look at the fixtures from 13 onwards. There is clean sheet potential in there, at least.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And obviously, that's for the defense. Then midfield, another Arsenal player right on top, Saka all the way. Look at, he's topping every single stat except for big chances created.
Is this since when?
Last 6 game weeks.
Last 6 games, yeah.
And De Bruyne there, Bowen there.
Where's Salah?
Salah is there. He's there, just near the bottom. This is still top 20, so it's still not too bad. But yeah, Salah has dropped off.
Yeah, look, and all the guys, Saka is, it's an interesting one. I'd like to get him and 7.8.
Yeah.
Then you really have to just think of the composition of your Arsenal attack, because you don't want to be exposed too much to that, because you'll have your Martinelli or Jesus or him, and they might, do you want a defense rather, and you don't want to put all the eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
But for sure, De Bruyne he's been my team since.
De Bruyne also solid.
Bone, Foden, Martinelli. There's Almiron, like I mentioned before. So it's good to see them all there.
Agreed. Like most of these midfielders are ones you want to try and get especially the ones on the top of the list at the moment. So
And
that
you just look there. There's so many options in that 6 to 8.5 that you can just bulk a whole midfield like that. And just go cheap on defense or something.
You could just go for like a proper 5 midfield. You
Yeah.
don't even need Andres. Get rid of Andres and like put us.
Correct. And that's hence my comment earlier of I think my evolution of my team will be that 3-5-2.
Yeah, I think I can see that happening as well. That could be the next one. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, things change very fast in FPL. So we'll see how that moves. But yeah, I'm looking forward to switching my team also in some similar structure. Now, that is the midfield. Anyone here that I guess you haven't thought about, like anyone that is not on this list that you probably are looking at, or maybe not? Probably not. Highly unlikely.
Zaha, where's Zaha?
Not on this list.
Yeah,
his numbers haven't been there.
He's definitely somebody I'm considering.
Yeah, fair enough. Fixtures are good still.
Fixtures are still good for him.
Yeah. And then finally, the forwards. Haaland, and Haaland. Followed by obviously Gabriel Jesus and Tony. You got Tony as well. Tony looking good, like in terms of like most of the stuff.
Yeah, and that's why I brought him in.
Yeah.
I think if any result, it'll go through him for Brentford.
Yeah. And then Kane. I think those are the 4 strikers you probably look at mainly.
Correct. It's interesting. Jesus is still at the same price that he was at the start of the season, even though what a cracking start of the season he's had.
The thing is, he also has one more yellow card away from a suspension as well.
Same comment with Maddison.
Yes, that's the thing. Both of those players are one more. That's one of the reasons I didn't go. I took him out of my wildcard team in Game Week 9 because of that one more yellow card. Now, obviously, if hopefully Maddison doesn't get a yellow card this week. If he does, that's even more problems in Game Week 12. So we'll have to see how it works. Jesus, though, I don't mind if he does get a yellow card this week, and then 13 we don't have to worry. Then obviously getting back later. But yeah, we'll see. Because you don't want to be in a situation where you go to get Jesus in 13 and then he gets a yellow card. Then it's like, you don't want that to happen. So
Firmino is still also there. He's ticking away nicely as well for Liverpool's perspective.
Yeah.
He's because of the whatever formation that they keep to be playing with is affecting obviously Salah, but
the central players are better.
Still okay.
Yeah. If you're more central like Nunes and Firmino, I think they're delivering more compared to maybe Salah. But obviously we'll have to see, because now that Diaz is out, they might have to revert formation. Because you can't play Firmino, Nunes, Jota, and Salah for every game till the end of the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
So you have to rotate. So I think they will switch formation. Doctor is saying, I'm surprised Skamaka isn't there. I think Skamaka is mainly just minutes, which is why he hasn't reached up here. But if he continues to play well and gets attacking returns, I think he'll eventually get up here. But it's just the minutes at the moment. I think that's the reason. So those are your players. One more to add, I think, and this is Nunes is also on this list. Yeah, so maybe he also could be a decent. Maybe one to monitor, see how Champions League fixture for Liverpool goes. In terms of captaincy, Haaland obviously is the captain. If you don't own Haaland, then you can probably look into maybe a Kane.
Yeah, I honestly can't think of
not owning Haaland.
Yeah, good luck if you don't.
Fair enough. So that's the captaincy, and then finally watch list. We've been doing this. This is your idea, so we've kind of like. What I've done is I've basically removed most of the premiums. I've still kept Salah. It's basically all the players we spoke about.
Yeah.
And that's all of this. If you're looking for a tiny list of like what players you want to target, you could probably just look at this list and.
It's funny Bamford is still there, but
I know. I should probably remove him.
He should be off that list for now. I don't think we talk of him yet.
And Watkins also. I forgot to change that. That's the one thing I need to change. So Bamford and Watkins should not be on this list. Just keep that in mind. But everyone else, I think, deserves a spot in here.
Yeah.
Cool. That's the watch list. And then obviously, what a week. 71 points.
Oh, that's okay. Still 1.7 million.
climbing.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a good couple of game weeks. Look,
Yeah.
I was sitting at 3-4 million for a long time, and then I think getting rid of all Liverpool players helped me. I just need to take a risk, and that's the risk I took. Yeah, it's like it's chipping away. I've got deadwood on my bench. Like I need. Of course, I've got money in the bank that I need to get rid of. Like Bailey has just been the worst thing that's ever happened this season. I think I've had him since when he was 5 million. Now it's 4.6.
You have 3 City and 1 Arsenal. You're gonna have to drop one of them for the blank, and also probably fix your bench if you want them to.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Exactly. So I've got two free transfers this week, and then it'll probably end up in the -4 eventually, similar to what you're thinking.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I'm okay to keep. Like, I think you can keep your City players against Liverpool for this week, and then obviously in 12 move one of them out or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, and then this is my team. It's a disaster. Look at that. Trent and Salah have been the bane. Why did I bring them on a wild card? I don't understand what happened.
Well, I mean, to be honest, the pain for you was, I mean, a lot of people have Salah, but last game week you didn't captain Haaland.
Yes, that was even worse.
Yeah.
I did. I had a bit more faith in United, and they went and crushed it.
Yeah.
That's just been the sad state. It is what it is. So that's the team. I'm also maybe thinking of a -4.
You're still going 5 defense there. That's interesting.
No, that was unnecessary because I should have put Andres for sub, and I had Guehi instead for sub. So Guehi came on. But yeah, I have to think about Salah. Watch the Liverpool game tomorrow and see what happens. If Salah is not looking good in that, then he's gone.
Yeah.
And then it's obviously Trent and Salah out, as well as probably Greenwood out as well. So I can get maybe Kane, or if Nunes looks good, then maybe Nunes. I don't know. I haven't decided on that.
It's an interesting one. I think in the press conferences and the thing, they were just like, Liverpool seem to be chipping away nicely. Okay, in the Champions League, and it comes to the league, they're just games getting away. So I don't know. It's hard to say if it's a fair representation. If Salah has a good game, will that translate into a good game against City? I don't know.
The other thing is, we have to keep in mind they're playing Rangers, not the best of opposition right now. To be judging Salah against as well, to be honest.
Right.
But at this point, I feel like if he can't perform against Rangers, then it's like, something's very wrong there.
How's Pickford been for you?
The reason I got Pickford was mainly because of trying to think of what people in Game Week 13 would wildcard to.
Yeah.
And I think then Everton's fixtures are good in that run. And I think Pickford would be a popular pick during that time. So I was like, okay, I'll go there right now. Because no other goalkeeper was really very tempting per se. So I'm not...
But hasn't delivered yet.
No, hasn't delivered yet. But I'm hoping he will eventually. We'll see.
Yeah.
So that's my team. Let's go quickly to the panel team that is beating both of us. And while we don't want to... while it's doing well, we also don't want to sabotage it. So this is the panel team. It got 69 points last week. Andre is unfortunate. I forgot to make a transfer on this team, so it still has 2 free transfers. But before we do the 2 free transfers, this is what the team is looking like. Obviously, Gordon, I think we can move out as one of the transfers. The question is to who?
How much do you have in the bank?
We have 0.3.
Ooh.
So we need to move Gordon as one potential. And I think the other one, depending on... It's either James or Mitro.
I think we're put this a bit late. Just again, I think those with most of us that have James, what the prognosis is. But likely... James or Perisic. But for sure, Gordon as a start. The problem is I can't think of heaps of people in the price bracket of what you have left there.
We could probably do James to a Brighton player at like 4.5.
So if you put a Webster there, then I think you can get a.
So if you put a Webster here, right, then you have 7.3. I think you have enough for like a Zaha. You wanted to. 7.4. You don't have enough for Zaha.
So let's see.
So then in that specific case, we go back to watch list. A Trossard is not a bad option.
Yeah, I was going to suggest Trossard.
Yeah. So we could do that as well if you wanted to. Like a Webster and a Trossard.
This is supposed to be the punt team.
team.
Why does it have no United players? Eh?
It's because United. Oh well, we could punt on United, but even them, they are. I think. Oh no, you could. Rashford is available. That's another option if you wanted to go there.
Yeah, I think you just have to wait for the James news that'll open up space for the midfield, because if you can't just replace Gordon right now as is.
No.
There's no options.
Yeah.
So it really depends on our second move.
Okay, all right. So we wait for the transfer news. I mean, we wait for the team news, and then we decide on this panel team. So that is that, and then obviously just before we end, price predictions. Trent and Salah have managed to escape any fall-ins, but it seems like Iverson is. I don't know if he's going up or not. Kane looks like he might go up. Dalot also looks possible, and Foden obviously climbing as well at a fast rate. In terms of fall, Mitrovic managed to escape a price fall today. Whether he'll escape one tomorrow is another question. Lisevsky looks like he might fall. But yeah, we'll wait and see with regards to that. That's the prices and price falls.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's basically it for this week. So thank you, Abin, for joining me.
Awesome.
Also, thank you to everyone in the chat as well who was partaking, helping everyone else in the chat as well. So shout out to Planner, Kai, Shubhar, and Doctor who were involved in the chat as well. And for everyone else who's watching, make sure to subscribe. We're on 409 subscribers. Target is 500 subscribers now. So make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and thank you to Abin as well. And we'll see you guys later.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you. How are you doing? Okay.